Alright, so now let's just do a little quick review. We're not going to cover the S3XL yet because we have to cover these two guys first. So if you put these together, now we're talking about okay, in hand language. If I just show you the S2Ls in a 7L diagram, this is a 5-string diagram. Not too far from the truth, because the 6th string is a repeat of the bottom string. Here's where the S2Ls will fit in a scale. Okay, and then if I, now in this particular point, if I suppress the S2Ls and just show you the S3Ls here they are. Alright, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, R2. And then also there's the Lego block that sticks them together, right? Like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, R2. That might have been backwards. Like that. But the bottom line is you build this 7L from these guys, and it looks like a 7, and I'll show you where the 7 is, because we got a little extra time today. Here's the 7. Believe it or not, it's a big, thick 7, but we can just draw it like this. There's the 7, and the L part. Okay, is the S3L, S2L there, and let's just say this part right here. So you can see the 7 and the L there. I'll actually zoom out the chart from cursor mode. Okay, and we'll actually be able to see that 7L there. There's our 7 and there's our L. Isn't that nice? That is the 7L. That's how fun it is making shapes out of these building blocks. But you'll find that these two shapes, this was an important pattern, but it isn't strictly a pattern, because a pattern is something that doesn't have that you can play without repeating notes. So we have to keep moving along, because I have like about a 10-second attention span of what I was talking about, at least today. So you can, here's a pattern up here. I put it up here. Sorry about this, but it's up here. So this pattern, you can play it. That makes it a pattern. You can play it. It's simplified, the simplest form. There's no repeated notes. So you can go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root, all the way up the line. All the way up the line. You can't do that with a 7L. A regular old 7L, ignore the color differences here, would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7 root. So what was the significance of the 7L? Well, believe me, it was very significant. Okay, because when I was first putting patterns together, I was trying to make heads or tails out of this thing. And the 7L pattern is important, because what happens is when you do the 7L, as we discussed, which is made only from the S3L here and the S2L there. Now the colors are now on the X3XL. We get the X3XL. So you put them together and just take the middle part, and you got this wonderful whole step pattern. 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a mixo-aeolian pattern. It's a mixolydian pattern if you start from the 5. And if you start from the 6 here and go to this 6, it's an aeolian pattern. Okay, what is the use of this S3XL pattern? is over here where you have a root here, and let's call that root the E. Root E. Okay, so that's our E chord here. We can, the problem is if you have a capo here, you can't do the E pentatonic, because it would be root 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Now that brings us to the subject of this lesson. Okay, and that is on that E, which is root. So let's zoom on up. Zoom on up here. When we're doing the E, we're going to choose the hybrid pattern to discuss this one. There's a hybrid pattern, and the top one is completely unwarped, all P-force tuning. If you see the 7 L's and they're not skewed like this, that means this is P-force tuning, all force tuning. Anytime you see the brand on there of 7L in this chart and others, it's going to be, or if you see the 7L, it's P-force tuning if these 7s aren't skewed like this. Now this one's normal because it's on the bottom 4 strings. The bottom 4 floors of this building here, this 6-story building, the bottom 4 floors are P-force tuning anyway. So you'll see a normal 7L if it's down there. We're going to choose the top one. We're actually going to choose the hybrid one to explain this. So we look at, we want to find that E, so it would be right here. So the fret note would be right there, would it not? We can draw a line right there. So let's say this is our fret nut right there. It's a little crooked, but that's our fret nut. That's our capo, okay? From there, we want to do root 2, 3, 5, 6 root 2, 3, 5, 6 root 2. Well, that looks kind of weird. What happened there? All right, well, let me just move this thing, if we may. If we can move this thing. It doesn't want to move. I don't want to move. You know, remember that song? Okay, so let's see if we can get rid of this. This is terrible. All right. So we're going to look at the top here. Now, it doesn't, this is an unwarped keyboard up top here. Here's our root. We know what that is, right? That's our E note in the key of E. Now, I've got a top and a bottom magic circle descriptions because the top 2 strings, this magic circle description goes along with the top 2 strings here. So right here, this would be a G shape there, and then the bottom 4 would be a G shape down to there. Okay, that kind of thing. Now, what's the root doing there? Why do we not have? Because in that particular instance, in that particular area, we don't have. We're not showing the. That's one of the middle shapes there. So we got to go over to where we do have it, the E shape right here. See, that's the difference with Cage. You have to have 2 instances of it. So we have the top 2 strings there and the top 2 strings there because this is all P-force tuning now. Now we can identify the patterns involved here. In the black, what do we have? S2L, 3, 5, 6 root. Up here, what do we have? We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2. That's an S3L. Okay, it's an S2, S3S right here, pentatonic. Okay, and then up here we